Okay, so I've cut this chipboard to 5 3/8 square, and that will fit on there nice and easily with a little tiny bit of room to move. The sides I've cut at 1.5 inches by 5 3/8. Sorry, 1 3/4 inches by 5 3/8, and there are 4 of those. So I'm now just going to attach those using the hinges. So again, they're just 4 hinges that I use 3/4 inch strips, scored at the 3/8 inch mark, which is the 1/2 inch mark there, like that. So we've got 4 of those at 5 3/8 by 3/4 inches, and we've got 4 at 1 3/4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. I'll put all this in the cutting guide, but yeah. So I was thinking that maybe I should cover the inside, given that you're gonna. I'll just spray paint it, I think. Anyway, we're just going to put this together now. so I went out the back and I sprayed these with whatever colours I grabbed out of the drawer, and that's what they became. Goodness knows what they are. They're all Lindy Stamp Gang sprays. But what I didn't do was make sure I sprayed the corners, because they're going to be seen. So if I put that there like that, I'm going to have to cover that. It may be noticed in that little groove in there. So I'm going to add some black gesso to the corners and the tops of all of the modules. So just to add a bit to it. So I'll come back when I've done all this and we'll move on. So what I've done is I've gone right to the edges on all sides, but not on the front. Oh, well, I've gone over mistakenly. But yeah, so once they're joined together, it's going to be dark, so you're not going to see any sort of funny areas that aren't sprayed. Okay. So what I now intend to do with this one, I'm not going to touch the inserts. They're going to stay as is, the slats. But with this, what I was thinking of doing was just covering on the top one, cover all around the outside edge and underneath. But I'd like, just in case it doesn't go all the way up the top or sometimes tears or whatever, I want to put some black paint around the edges there. And I also, yeah, all the corners are going to be covered with paper, so I'm not going to worry about those. So it's just the top edges of those. So okay, so I realised in order to keep that top one in place, I had to put something along the side to ensure that it stayed in place. So what I thought I might do, this piece here is 6 inches by 4.5, and I'm taking the brackets on the edge die from Tim Holtz and punching the top of it with the top note type bracket. But what I want to do first is ensure that all these are going to be fairly even. So I've positioned it where I want it, and then I'm going to try and grab the central part of it. Now, if you notice on these dies, there's a little bit more room over the left side on mine than there is on there. So what I'm trying to do is center it on the black foam area. So about there. I'm just trying. Okay, let me get this out of the road so I can do this. Okay, put that down there. And so it's about there, so I'm just going to make a mark on that score tape piece there, so that's directly in the center of that point. So I'm going over to the Big Shot and cut them up, and then I'll be back. Okay, so what I've got now is a 9 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch strip of craft cardstock. Just scoring that down the middle. Now, each of these will cut down to a 6 inch and a 3 3/4 inch strip, and that will be sufficient. 4 of them will be sufficient to join the outside box. So I'm just going to put some score tape on there and stick it together. Okay, so I have a bit of a dilemma here because I've only got an 8x8 pad with the Steampunk Debutante, and I've got to cover a fair amount of area. So what I thought of doing was covering this top box, because this is the one that's going to be lifted out, just around the sides there. So if I cut that, because that there is 1 3/4. Yeah, so if I cut that to 2 1/4, now if I do 2 1/4 times 3 is 6 3/4, I'm only going to have 1 1/4 that way. But if I come down 6 here, I'll have 2 inches that way. But I don't want to come down 6, so I want the corners to be covered. So I might have to use 2 of these papers. Okay, so I think I'll do 2, and because the perimeter of this will be 24 inches, so I need 3 of these pieces. So 3 into 8 would be 2 1/2 will do it. So if I just go 2 5/8 times 3, yep, 2 5/8, I should get it. So 2 5/8, 2 5/8, and 2 5/8, just with an 1/8 of an inch to spare. Okay, so then I want to join these, I think, before I actually, let me get rid of this. So I've got some teeth to hold that paper down. So I'm thinking of joining those first so that I don't stuff it up when I'm actually adhering it. Okay, that's joined. Now I might have a bit of empty space at the end because the corners are going to take a bit extra away from it, so that's okay. I can do something in the center of one of or even I could do it in the center of all of them, something, put some embellishment there. Now we're ready, I think. Now, so close to the top, but not right at the top edge. Really reinforcing it along that corner area there. And let's remove this and some more corner tape. Put some more wet glue on. Really pressing that down as I'm going around. And I'm really pulling on that paper around those corners. And that one's actually just going around that, like I'll show you in a minute. It's about a 1/4 of an inch from the corner, one of the joins. So now I don't want to pull too hard on that so that the join comes apart. Actually it wasn't 6 inches, was it? It was only 5 3/4, was it? Can't remember. So that's good, we've got enough, but we do have a join. So what I might do, I don't want to cut it down now because I could probably cut it straight if I cut it that way. But where do I want it cut to? That one there. Okay. I'll stuff this up. Right. Line it up so it's straight. Here's my craft knife. Don't destroy this bit of paper in case I've got to fix up a fudged area, fudge up a stuffed up area. Okay, I'm going to have to put some more score tape on that end there. I'm also going to have to ink that end with the black soot. Okay, remove it. Reapply that wet glue and stick it down. I made it with about 1/8 of an inch to spare. Okay, reinforce all that tape and wet glue. Now, what I need to do here, first, I think I want to put some, I'll just put some wet glue in there. So I'm going to remove the tape backing first. Oh, this is so hard. Get the fingers in there. Okay. And then I want to cut these corners, cut a wedge in them. And then before I glue that down, I want to put some wet glue in there, just in that corner area there. And Ah, I pressed a bit too hard, didn't I? Okay. Right, be careful with the next one. Bit of wet glue in there. And stick that down. Okay, now I'll burnish that really well. I'm just pushing on those corners there, just sort of rounding it. Okay, that's the outside of that box done. And now let's going in there. And this is the box that pulls out, so we're going to have to cover the bottom, but at this stage I'm not going to do that just yet because, why? Because I don't know how much paper I'm going to have, and I may have to end up just putting some cardstock on it.